6 a.m. can only mean one thing. Actually, it can mean multiple things, because I've been going to work at like 4:30 a.m. recently. But I am driving the Land Cruiser here up towards Chicago-ish area. Not quite up to Chicago, but Central Illinois, I guess you call it. Let's start. It's cold. But I am going to Pontiac, Illinois to meet up with a friend of mine, Zach from the Shooting Cars YouTube channel, and he's gonna review this, and we're gonna check out the museum and blah blah blah, and I could take my Land Cruiser on a road trip for the first time. I'm recording with my GoPro, so I don't know how this is gonna come out because I don't use this GoPro hardly ever, and if I do, it's for like sticking on the outside of a vehicle and then recording that. But first order of business, of course, is getting gas because I am almost out. Luckily, there's a gas station I know of that's not too expensive, so let's get going. And I know I haven't even made a review of this thing myself, but I don't care that somebody else is reviewing it at all. You know, it does not matter to me in the slightest. You get to see how quickly this thing warms up too. It's ridiculous. It warms up in like 5 minutes, especially if you're driving. It's actually so nice. Especially on the colder days like today, which it's gonna be 40 something for a high, and then it's still gonna go down from here. It's like 40 right now, it's gonna be like 35 in a couple hours. And I'm heading north, which means it's gonna get colder anyways, so yeah. As I mentioned, it's like 5:54. It was 5:51 when I first started recording. We're already up to the cold mark on the temperature gauge, and watch, it'll go up in the time that I'm recording this clip. It's maybe not that crazy for a lot of cars, but compared to everything that I've owned, it is very impressive to say the least. Because like you can see, it's already still going up. It'll be at the medium or the middle mark in basically no time. It's so nice. Let's get this heat going actually. And so it is kind of neat on this thing. There's a lot of like interesting little features that I don't think were quite on the USDM version of these Land Cruisers. Like specifically, if you watch to the left, specifically kind of over there, when I turn the turn signal, I actually have a cornering light, which is actually super interesting. I don't want to be in this lane, I want to be in this lane. But yeah, it's a light that lights up kind of straight to the left of the front of the vehicle, so you can actually see better whenever you're turning in the dark, and it's very nice. TC actually has the same thing, and my old Chrysler LeBaron had the same thing, so it is neat. But the gas station, you probably, well, you might be able to see why specifically I choose this gas station. I mean, there's that one over there too, but I like this one. I like QT better. It is $2.73 a gallon. The other two gas stations I passed by just now were $2.89 a gallon. So I will happily take my $2.37. That was a curb. I pay attention well, I swear. Got the Breakfast of Champions here. It's a cold smoothie coffee, because I like pain and the cold. Fun fact. And, of course, the good standard Pop-Tarts, s'mores. I haven't had these in such a long time, and I'm like, I don't really want McDonald's for breakfast. I've been eating McDonald's almost every day because it's something open whenever I go to work. I got a Sprite too, just because it exists, and I'll drink it sometime. Yeah, neat. Let's continue. On the road we go. We are at, how many kilometers? 63,609. So we'll see where we're at when we get there. It's time for a fun fact on Land Cruiser. So if you remember when I had the Toyota Celsior, it had cruise control, similar to how my Land Cruiser has cruise control. Turn, hold on. So yeah, but they both have cruise control. The Celsior was limited to 108 kilometers per hour on the cruise control. The Land Cruiser is limited to about 112 kilometers per hour on the cruise control, which is actually about 70. Luckily, I can actually drive 70 this thing with the cruise control on. And the Celsior is always at like 68, and it made me angry because, you know, 70 miles per hour speed limits and whatever else. But yeah, I'll have to figure out how to disable that, because if I like go to Texas or something where there's 75 mile per hour speed limits or faster, depending on where you go, I would like to use cruise control. at some point. But anyways, we're back on the road. We're about to cross over into the great state of not Missouri. This will be the first time this thing has driven itself out of Missouri since I got it under its own power, which is already more times than the Celsior did, because the Celsior, I never took it outside of the state. And yeah, we are actually, there's the river, we are officially in Illinois as of somewhere around now probably. There's an Illinois, oh there it is, Illinois state line. Let's go. So it's about an hour in, it's about 7 o'clock if you can see right there. I have a few thoughts. One being that this coffee was not great. It had a weird texture to it. Like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say slimy, but it's not the greatest. It is kind of weird though. It's like a slushy coffee thing. We have 185 miles left to go. I forgot to reset my trip odometer at the gas station, so yeah, about that. But yeah, we are on our way. I'm still full of Pop-Tart, pretty much full. Yeah, this thing is nice. Like, this seat, I thought there's like a bar that goes across the back of the seat that I thought was going to just make me angry. Of course, this is nothing like what I've done in my truck, where I've done 15+ hour road trips from New York City. So far, seat's good, not gonna lie. Back is a little uncomfortable, just a little. I opened the sunroof cover, and it felt like I just got blasted with cold air, so I closed the sunroof cover. The front speakers of this thing are still awful. They're blown out. They rattle really bad, so I'm gonna have to look up replacements or something to put for those. And that is about it, I think. It's been about 5 minutes. Time for another update. If you notice, we're going straight down the road. I'm holding my steering wheel at a bit of an angle to the left. Now that we're kind of in the flat part of Illinois, well, most of Illinois is flat, but it's flatter here than compared to back by St. Louis. This thing, if you thought, I mean, I'm sure it's probably not as bad as some vehicles, but flat side of car that's tall and long, plus very strong winds coming from one direction, mean this thing is unhappy to be going straight down the highway. Yeah, I'm having to keep adjusting my steering because the wind keeps trying to push me off the road. So it's not unexpected, because I have driven stuff like Jeeps and whatnot before and have had to deal with wind and nose, but yeah, this is the first time I've had my own vehicle that is this affected by the wind, and boy howdy, it's affected for sure. Another little fun tidbit is the working compass up here. I'm pretty glad that this works, even though it doesn't really affect me that much, because I don't really usually need a compass for anything. But yeah, we are basically heading straight north right now, Highway 55, and the compass is reflecting that, which is pretty neat if you ask me. And the light works behind it, which is also cool. Here on the right is the classic car dealership known as Country Classic Cars here in Staunton, Illinois. And I made a bunch of videos here back in the day, including one of looking at everything after one of the entire buildings burned down with like 30 or 40 cars in, I think. But yeah, it's a neat place though. They got a lot of stuff usually. They actually don't have as much as they usually do, I don't think. I believe there's usually more. There's a lot of open spots. Neat place though. Got a second-gen Ram. See a Thunderbird, a bunch of older stuff. One-bed step-side Chevy truck. And wait for it. Oh god, I gotta switch lanes. There's a truck coming up. Hey, there we go. That is officially 1,000 kilometers. Oops, that's cruise control. 1,000 kilometers driven in the Land Cruiser, and I've had it for a total of now 8 days. This is the 8th day I've owned this vehicle or had it in my possession. So I've driven it quite a bit. It's been specifically a lot of work stuff and just driving to and from work, because it's like 50 miles specifically just to drive to work and back home. And look at all those wind turbines. There's a bunch. There's some on the right over here. There was some maybe back, maybe not. There's a ton of them though. They're a lot easier to see at night, surprisingly, because they all have red lights that flicker or that flash at the exact same time all the way around, and they go literally all the way around me basically, except for on my right. Well, actually, that's a lie. There's ones on my right too. Interesting things I don't see down where I am because there's too many hills and things for wind farms. Interesting. Oh, we're getting closer. Hold on. Gotta get a close-up look at a wind turbine. And they stretch for miles and miles too. See, there's a bunch over that way. Still some to the right. Oh, that one's not moving. There's like a couple not moving actually. There's one right there, there's one further over. Huh. Turbines. Neat to look at. And also need to know that it's providing power instead of coal related things, you know? It's neat, it's cool. We're almost there. Exit 197. It's actually the next exit. And there's something I saw a sign for. I think that's it right there on the right. There was a billboard that was like, Wally's, the biggest rest stop or whatever in the Midwest or something like that. And considering I've been to Buc-ee's down in Texas, I am curious to see if it holds. It does look like it holds a candle to Buc-ee's. So I think we'll stop there for a minute and take care of a few things, throw away some trash and whatnot, and then make our way over to the museum, which is going to be another 2.5 miles or so. Yeah, this is historic downtown Pontiac. I'm on the wrong side of my car. Imagine driving right-hand drive and not remembering that you drive right-hand drive. I actually tried to use the actual key in the door. But yeah, Waldy's doesn't quite hold a candle to Buc-ee's. I just closed my hair in the door. We're fine. Yeah, it's not quite as big as Buc-ee's, especially on the inside, which I was going to record a little bit of, but I was in a hurry because I had to pee really bad, and I did not bring a mask in with me. It seemed like almost everybody else did have one, so I didn't really want to like stick around and make a scene or anything. So maybe when I come back, because I do have a mask, but I just didn't take it with me. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty nice, not gonna lie. I thoroughly enjoyed my time, and of course, before we do anything else, I do need gas at some point. I guess I could theoretically get some now. Speaking of gas in Illinois is expensive. It's like $3.35 a gallon here, and it's like not $3.35 a gallon down around where I live. So of course I gotta park where I can see that. The Grand Wagoneer. I really like it. It's cool. It has kind of a Christmas theme to it right now because it's almost Christmas. But yeah, so I guess I'll get some gas. I'll see what my miles per gallon were, because I think I drove like 330 kilometers maybe, somewhere around there. I'll have to do some math because I think I remember how much I was at. I didn't reset my trip until well after I got gas before, so we'll figure that out. And because I think I've got better mileage than I have been, so we'll see. I bet you won't hear me this entire time, but I paid like $2.84 for gas. Yeah, it's expensive here. It's cold. It is stupidly windy outside here. It's ridiculous. But anyways, I drove, how many miles? 210 miles. 210 divided by, it took 16 gallons. I have no idea if you can actually even see that. But 16.6 gallons, 6.6, 12.6 miles per gallon. That's within what it said it should make from the factory. Nice. To be fair, it said 12 to 14, and it was literally all highway driving. I didn't even slow down hardly from home or from the last gas station until here. So not the best, but not 10.4. I think it was 10.4. That I got, I don't remember. All right, we got a few miles left to go to the museum that we're meeting at, so I will quickly bring that back up on the maps, and
starting route to Pontiac.
We will head on there, 2.6 miles, let's go. Train, I thought I was gonna have to wait for that, but luckily I get to turn left. Let's go. Train is cruising, it's got lots of double stacked ones. Oh, there's a middle engine. Not the beginning, not the end. What'd you say, phone? Oh, turn left or right. Okay. Can do, Chief, in a half a mile. Bronco. No more Bronco. No Mavericks. I've yet to see a Maverick at a dealership. I've seen like 3 in the wild just driving around, but that's it. I still want one too. I don't know if anybody here knows, but I want a Maverick. I don't know what I'd do with a Maverick because I have many vehicles already, but yeah, we gotta turn right apparently here. We're half a mile away from our destination, so screw it. Oh, I get to turn here actually. I believe. Oh, shoot. Darn it. North Mill Street. Okay. The train. I wonder if Zach's already up here. I don't know, but I guess we're waiting for the train until train's over. Yay! Yay! Train's over. We can go through now. Yay! Trains may exceed 80 miles per hour. There's some fast trains. Holy crap! The ones around where I live, they go like 50 at most, if even. So yeah, it's great. I don't know where I'm going exactly because the phone turned off. But yeah, we're on our way, I guess. I gotta turn left somewhere up here. I have a ram right up my butt, which is nice. The trash can fell over. Very nice. It is windy up here, as I mentioned. At the next stop sign, turn left. Got it. Can do, Chief. It's a neat little town, actually. It's like an actual town, not just a few buildings and then nothing, like around where I live. Think of Pontiac. There is a Pontiac up there too. There's a silver G6. Which is funny because it kind of looks like Zach's old car that I shot a video of years ago. Okay. I guess I'll have to find somewhere to park. I don't know where. Oh, I got a message. Oh! Spotted.
I did a 64 GTO convertible.
I did I drove a 64 GTO clone convertible.
Yeah.
I think it was a 4-speed. I can't remember. 90s Grand Prix. I love those. Oh, there's an STE over there too. It's all-wheel drive. Probably if it's in here.
They have all-wheel drive ones.
Yeah. The high end, like the 1989s or whatever they were. You got the top trim. You can get all-wheel drive in them.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's probably an all-wheel drive one there. Oh, look at this Grand Prix real quick. I'm sorry. I get distracted really easily because. Welcome to going through places with interesting things with me. I get shiny things very often. Neat. Yeah, it makes sense. Pontiac and Oakland, because I think Oakland was like a part of Pontiac or something for a bit. There is probably history somewhere. I'm just completely glazing over it. Because there's shiny cars. And there is an all-wheel drive badge over there. STE all-wheel drive.
You were right.
Yeah. I figured that probably was what it was, because if it's one of these, it's probably going to be all-wheel drive at this point. All the other ones got crushed and wrecked and everything. Nobody cared. Nobody cares still, but...
I was actually behind something similar to this last night in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God bless whoever that is.
It's the Pontiac Goosty. Because it's the 6000 STE.
Oh.
Yeah. People like to call them Goosties. Trans Am
So
convertible.
I found out I always thought the WS6 was the chassis code. It's
No.
a trim level.
Yeah, it's a trim level. It has a little more performance stuff on it.
Yeah. Because my friend has a Trans Am.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, and you can compare it to my buddy's Firebird. And I'm like, I didn't know there was a difference.
Mm-hmm. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Because they both came with V8s. They both I don't know. It's just difference of names and maybe package availability or something. Ooh, turbo Trans Am. Not the 3.8 turbo, the 4.9.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I drove a Firebird, a 4-speed Fire Trans Am, whatever, with the regular 4.9.
Okay.
Because they came without turbos too.
I've never driven one of these. I always wanted to.
They're not bad. They like to rattle a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's American, so.
Yeah, and it's from 79 or 1980, I guess. Or 79? Yeah, no, 1980. Fiero. Long Fiero. Fiero 2+2 concept car. The only factory built four-place Fiero. Huh.
Yeah, so this guy still takes it to shows.
Huh.
There's a Fiero show up in St. Charles every year, and this car has gone a couple of times.
Huh. That's neat.
Yeah.
So that means I guess it still runs and drives too. That's cool.
Yeah.
And there's also what a Fiero looks like if you take all the body panels off of it.
Oh, look at all the.
Oh, memorabilia, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen this one before. The one in the bottom there.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh. I've seen it on the internet somewhere. Huh. Neat.
Hall and Oates.
Yeah, right. Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Yeah.
We build excitement. It
Fiero
sure did.
Space Frame. Yeah, these are just so unique.
Yeah, and like I said, there's not.
Oh, it has all the buttons on the steering wheel.
Yep.
In the center.
Mm-hmm. Pontiac did like their buttons in like 1990, somewhere around there. But yeah, these were on my bucket list of things to like drive and film at one point. Still is, but I have so much other stuff going on.
It looks like a new plate, but that sticker looks like it's from '89.
I don't know, maybe
Maybe they put the year of the car on there?
they might have. They might just made something for it, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
This middle one.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Mm. I think some of them light up too, or all of them light up. Yeah, I think if you turn on the marker lights or something, they light up. So, since Zach's out shooting the Land Cruiser right now, I almost said a Land Rover. I was looking at Instagram, there was a Land Rover on it. I am just chilling here, sitting in his car, and looking at this beautiful mural? English is not my forte. Yeah, just kind of waiting for him to get done, and then see what happens afterwards, because I don't know. But I'm just trying to stay out of the wind, because it's really windy and really cold outside. Alright, so we said our goodbyes. Thanks over there. He's screwing out some. I guess I'm gonna drive back home because I have nothing really else to do this way, so we'll make our way on back home. Add a few more kilometers this thing and stay out the cold because it's really, really cold outside. My nose is running, my eyes were watering just standing outside for a few minutes. Yeah, all right, let's get going. Oh wow, it's so nice for the sun to finally join us today. It's still extremely cold outside. I am on my way home, driven a bit. Also, just to prove that, you know, before I was saying that the wind was blowing me so hard that I had to steer consistently to the left. Well, yeah, now I have to steer consistently to the right because the wind's coming from the same direction. Well, for the most part. Except when I'm around like hills, little bitty hills and like overpasses and stuff. I'm basically holding the wheel at an angle to the right, so yeah, this is fun. I guess my next objective is to find somewhere to get food at. It might be like Springfield or something, might stop there. Not entirely sure as of yet, but I will probably see you then. Figure we could take a little bit of a detour, you know? Have a little fun on the way back because I have nowhere to be for a while, so. And also, can you tell that this was probably a Mitsubishi place before it was Rivian? I don't know if you can see that, but it says Mitsubishi Entrance Road North. Up here is where I'm going to turn, apparently. I just want to see how close I can get. I don't actually know. I don't know where I'm going, so we'll see, I guess. Oh, I see. Don't know exactly what I can do or what I can see here, but this sure is a place. I'll tell you that much. There's a train over there that stopped. It says to take a left. I don't know if that's gonna actually get me anywhere, because I mean, it said the place was closed today on Google, so it's not even like open. So I don't know. I really don't know. I figured I'd just drive this way and see where I ended up, and that's what we're doing. So you want me to turn left here. Hey, look at that, Rivian. Neat. I'm just gonna kind of drive up here and just look at it and then drive back out. I don't really have anything to do here, so it seems to be a big roundabout. I do want to take a picture with my phone though, so we're gonna get that ready. Hold my hand here, grab my phone with my other hand, do that, take a picture. But yeah, this is Rivian. Oh, there's a bunch of them over there actually, that's funny. I'm guessing that's just like charging stations, that's what it looks like. Huh, interesting. There's nothing saying I shouldn't be in here, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, there's a bunch of Rivians over here. They are neat looking. I don't know much about them. I watched Doug DeMuro's recent video on them. Don't know much about them, but they are neat looking, I gotta say. But that is Rivian apparently. Cool, good to know. I didn't realize they had such a big complex already. Like, they haven't even really released anything. I mean, I guess they're starting to release Rivian, or the R1Ts now, the trucks. But yeah, I didn't think that, I don't know. I might have to look up more. Interesting, cool. It's time for some nice Midwestern cuisine. Hell yeah, I'm going to Culver's. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Probably fine. You know, it's probably fine. Yeah, it's fine. See? I told you everything was gonna be fine. It's totally fine, yeah. The gas light only came on for a few seconds earlier. So, we're gonna do a test here because these things are supposed to have, according to basically all of the research I've done, they're supposed to have a 25-gallon tank. When I first got this in, it had the gauge showing empty, similar to how it's doing now, and it took 18 point something gallons. So we're gonna test and see if it does the same thing again. Are you really gonna go to that freaking pump? You're not actually gonna pump it, I'll go to this one. So we'll see how many gallons it takes, I guess. And that is it. That is the road trip done. 64,326 on the odometer, which means I drove 717 kilometers, like close to 500 miles. Not too bad. Car performed great. Have no real issues. I got these stickers from Zach. It's funny. I'm gonna probably stick this one on this because this is the 2021 Shooting Cars reviewee, and everything else I've had has been the older ones that we have here. He gave me one for each car, so I'll figure out something to do with them. But yeah, I think I might stick this one on the rear side window. That's upside down. But yeah, pretty comfortable. Not as comfortable as my truck still. I wish that it kind of was, but oh well, I guess. Nothing can get close to having that, which has basically just entire foam blocks that are nice and soft for seats, for the back and the bottom. So, oh well. But, yeah. I apologize. I guess that will conclude this video. I guess the camera, look at me. Because the sun's shining right in my eyeballs. Maybe that'll help. So, thank you all for watching this little vlog of sorts of road tripping the Land Cruiser for the first time. It was a lot of fun, and I'll have to do it again. A lot more. We'll see. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.